Ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, hello, welcome to the channel. Today we'll be continuing the driving series or the car series on the channel. We've checked out a couple European car brands and seen basically that you guys are one of the biggest innovators when it comes to sport cars. And I got a comment the other day after I mentioned the Formula One car and I was thinking it was British. Someone mentioned that I should actually check out more information on the Formula One because apparently it's more than just like a car. Like it's a whole movement. It's a whole thing that's been around for since World War I or World War II, which again, this is just like Eurovision. I didn't even know this thing existed. I just thought a Formula One was like a really expensive sports car, but apparently there's a whole story behind it. So let's get into it and find out more about it. Subscribe if you're new here, like the video. On this channel, we do all cultural stuff, and I guess we're a learning channel at this point, because in America, it's very closed lensed. Like you see and hear a lot of things about what's going on in your country, but we don't ever really pay attention or hear about what's going on in the rest of the world. So I've created this channel for me to, I guess, travel mentally, even if I can't afford or have the time to go physically. That's a nice saying. But anyway, subscribe if you're new here, like the video, and comment some other ideas because, again, this video is based off of a comment I got. So enough jibber jabber, though. Let's get into the Formula One. That is more than just a sports car. Okay. Jesus.
It's
that
the
exhaust.
most prestigious racing series in the entire world. It's the pinnacle of speed, power, and skill. The most...
Did those wheels just fly off? Speed? It doesn't look like there's a cover for the guy either. Like in the fighter jets, how they have that, I don't know if it's plexiglass or what, or plastic, but there's like this cover, this clear cover around them. Does this guy have one? I'm scared for them.
Power and skill. The most advanced cars on the planet, driven by the most skilled racers, period. The drivers are going 100 miles an hour faster than
the Rolex
planes taking off. It's the world's top manufacturers fighting on the most glamorous circuits to see who can build the best race car in the galaxy.
Yeah. So the Formula One isn't just like one car. The Formula One is like the formula for building the best sports car, like he just said. Like the whole point of this is to see who's the best, who manufactured the best car, and that's determining who's winning, not like the race you're in. Interesting. Because again, I thought the Formula One was just a brand of car like Mercedes, Mazda, Toyota. But no, it's a whole racing movement, I guess you could say, like a annual movement.
Who can build the best race car in the galaxy? This is everything you need to know to get up to speed on Formula One.
Formula One! Yeah!
In the early 1900s, rich guys were racing their fancy jalopies from town to town around
What if you
Europe
wrecked
in
one?
hastily organized contests
Insurance
called
claim?
Grand Prix. It was like that part of The Great Gatsby when they go racing and Leonardo DiCaprio. Anyway,
I've never seen The Great Gatsby.
Happens, blah, blah, blah. You can't race.
Did he just say World War II, blah, blah, blah? World War II, that shifted the world and history on its axis. It's not no blah, blah, blah. That's a big thing.
World War II happens,
so we do more historical
blah, blah,
reactions?
blah. You can't race anymore, but it didn't take long for people to start racing after the war ended. In 1947, the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, or FIA, was founded. The FIA immediately created a bunch of racing series centered around Grand Prix style racing, with the top tier called Formula A, which quickly turned into Formula One.
Okay, so it seems like a lot changed after World War II. We've done a couple reactions, I think one or two, about the history part of World War II, but we never discussed the after effects, like what happened to the Germans, all the people who were, I guess, liberated. We've never checked out that part of history. So if that's something you're interested in, for sure we can do. But I guess the Formula A, or now called Formula One, is kind of similar in Eurovision, in the fact that it was supposed to bring people together after the war and I guess restore happiness and joys of life again. Like he said, before the war, all these rich aristocrat people were racing their fancy cars, but now it turned into a thing that all the people can enjoy after the war. Like a bunch of people just died. Your economy was in disarray, all over the world. So now let's develop something that can give people hope again for the future. So racing, it's not just all these stupid guys in there modded out BMWs from 2006 driving on the Autobahn. No, this is a prestigious thing he was saying. It's not just these, riffraff.
The only rule was that the engines couldn't be bigger than 2.5 liters and they had to be naturally aspirated.
Okay, not really sure what naturally aspirated means. Someone explain that, but at 2.5, isn't that like a 4-cylinder? Because I'm pretty sure 3.5 liters are V6s or V8s. So what would a 2.5 liter be? A 4-cylinder, I think. Good gas mileage. Very nice.
Besides that, the sky was the limit. These new
turbos,
engines and rules brought new teams
nitrous
to compete with the old. While the old-timey Gatsby race teams generally had old-timey drivers, newcomers like Lancia and Mercedes had to get drivers of their own. Both companies set out to hire the best available. Lancia hired an Italian, Alberto Ascari.
The Italians are known for good cars.
Hired Argentinian-born Juan Manuel Fangio. These guys were insane, tearing down backcountry roads, wearing nothing but a leather helmet and a...
Whoa, 2 things. So this is what people mean when they say, oh, you needed a driver mod, like, because I guess it's not just about the formula of the car, it's also the person driving the car, operating the machine, because like if they suck and they can't, like me for instance, if I don't know how to do stick shift, there's no way to operate the car. And y'all were arguing, in fact, let me know your opinions. I say off the line, an automatic car is going to beat a stick shift car every single time. However, I guess maybe once you get up to speed, say 40, 50 miles per hour, convert that to kilometers if you want. But once you get up to speed, then maybe I don't know. Who's better? Who's faster? Who's more practical? An automatic, which I believe, and that's what I was taught to drive, or a stick shift? Let me know your opinions. But the fact that they're doing these races with just leather caps, as a nurse, I'm scared. You're going to be in the ICU. And they're on these non-paved roads, like he said, country back roads. I thought it would be on like a track. Whew. How many, again, I ask, how many people died doing this back in the day?
A crazed grin. They didn't even have seat belts.
Crazy.
Fangio and Mercedes were a dominant pair, having won the 1954 and 1955 seasons back-to-back.
Nice.
But after a horrific accident involving one of its cars at Le Mans, killing 83 spectators,
Oh my God. I was here worried about the drivers. I didn't even think about the... Oh my God, 83 people.
1954 and 1955.
And it's caught on camera.
But after a horrific accident involving one of its cars at Le Mans, killing 83 spectators, Mercedes decided to abandon motorsport altogether. Almost simultaneously with Mercedes' departure, crashes would also force Lancia out and sadly take the life of Ascari.
No! One of the best to ever do it. Shout out to the Italian guy. No, like you would think the first one that took 83 people, you would say, okay, let's build up more walls. Let's make this more secure. Let's make the cars more secure. Let's make the tracks more secure. But it seems like nothing changed after that first one. And it was just an after effect that caused all these people to pull out of the race instead of just developing it to become safer. Oh, man. Rest in peace, Ascari.
Lancia sold all of their Formula One equipment and development to Ferrari and just washed their hands of the entire sport. Ferrari would take the development from Lancia and hire the now jobless Fangio, who would win the 1956 championship. He then left Ferrari for Maserati and won another championship.
Where's the brand loyalty? Like me, I'm a Toyota girl till I die. When I say Toyota, I'm talking Lexus, I'm talking Scion, and of course I'm talking made in Japan Toyota itself. But I'm never, just because there's brand loyalty there, there's reliability, there's trust. I know that a Toyota is never going to leave me on the side of the road like a lot of y'all's BMWs are going to do. No disrespect. Or even the German Mercedes. I see a lot of those broken down too. But yeah, there's no brand loyalty from the Formula One drivers, it seems. I guess whoever is paying the best. Makes sense though. You do have shit to pay for. This is your job.
In 1957, he decided to retire from racing when he was kidnapped by Fidel Castro.
No!
Wild stuff. Google it, it happened. In 1959,
they don't teach you any of this.
The Cooper Racing Team made an innovation that would change racing and cars forever.
They added seatbelts.
The team moved the engine from in front of the driver to behind his little butt.
So from front engine, this is how front engine, mid engine, and I guess rear engine happened when you have the frunk. It's cool that all these things that are just like common nowadays that you know about, where it came from.
Totally changed how the car drove and made it way better. By 1961, every team was using a mid-engine layout in their cars, and they still do today. At the start of the 1967 season, British team Lotus would introduce the Ford Cosworth DFV 3-liter V8 to the world.
Okay, there's my answer. A 3-liter is a V8, so then a 2.5 would be like a V6. But yeah, Lotus, I told y'all before, my top 5, which the more, I guess, my brain develops as I get closer to the age of 25 and my frontal lobe is maturing, I realize, again, Toyota girl. But my 5, if, like, money was not an expense and I could never have to worry about going to the manufacturer for repairs or the bill, 570S McLaren, BMW i8, Lexus LC500, Lotus Emira, or there was one more. Not the is it M5 or MK5 Super or something like that? I don't know, but that's my top 5. And Lotus, they have the Toyota engines, but they have like that supercar luxury exterior. So I don't know, it's on my top for sure.
British team Lotus would introduce the Ford Cosworth DFV 3-liter V8 to the world. It powered the now legendary Lotus 49. Lotus had exclusive rights.
How do y'all feel about them going electric?
But it was so good, every team wanted it, and it would go on to power almost every Formula One car for the next decade. Ferrari, being Ferrari, didn't want to use somebody else's engine, so they built their own. Figuring more is more, they tried to combat the V8 with a flat 12. Not only did these things sound amazing,
V12?
they also made a ton of power.
I love that we're, again, developing the cars, making them faster, stronger, better engines, but we haven't still yet to address the safety. I did see that bucket seat had like a harness seatbelt, so it seems we've developed the love for seatbelts, but what else is there to like make sure the crowd and the drivers are safe? Like if I were to ever come to like, I don't know, you don't call it NASCAR, I think that's just an American thing, but a Formula One race, if I wanted to go watch one, how would I know as like a spectator that I'm going to be safe in the crowd today?
Almost everybody using one of these two engines, smaller teams started using any technological innovation that they could sneak past the rules. Soon, some insanely experimental cars were hitting the grid, including 4-wheel drive racers, cars with 6 wheels, and even a car with a fan to suck it to the road through corners.
Nice.
Jessica. The 70s were...
Was that a sex joke? I don't need to know about your love life, sir.
Perfect balance of rock star attitude and technical innovation.
So this is a whole world thing, not just Europe.
Drivers of this period embodied that yin and yang better than Niki Lauda and James Hunt. Lauda was a reserved and meticulous Austrian who drove for Ferrari, and Hunt was a rowdy playboy type, much like myself.
This guy's kind of funny.
Drove for McLaren. Off the track, these teams respected each other, but on it, there might never be a fiercer rivalry. Their story is so good that a few years ago, they made a big old Hollywood movie about it. Ooh. It's called Rush. Also, check out the sequel, Rush More.
I like your nurse's uniform, guy. These are OR scrubs.
Ground effect, aerodynamic kit, which not only increased downforce, but also reduced drag. The Lotus didn't rely on wings pushing the car down, but shaped the bottom of their car like an upside-down airfoil. This essentially made the entire car a wing, with none of the drag.
Again, like you learn more about the actual practical use of this. Like me, I'm just used to seeing these big wings on Scion FRSs, Honda Civics, your BMW 328i, in my area, but the fact that they had purpose back in the day, like on the track, that was to help with aerodynamics. It's really cool to like learn that there's actual purpose, and then to know in the back of your head once you see one in like real life, like that's not doing anything for you when you're stuck in traffic all day. You just look cool. But it's cool to know where they're from.
70s stuff they were smoking, I want some. I'm just kidding. Pot sucked in the 70s. Ask your grandma. Oh my Lord.
What is going on here?
Every team for the past decade had used a naturally aspirated 3-liter engine. The rules also allowed an engine half the size with forced induction. Up until 78, teams had figured that with the technology available at the time, any competitive turbocharged engine would be too laggy.
Okay, so again, Formula One is not a brand of car. It is a type of car. So you have Renault, you have Ferrari, you have the Aspen, I think he called it, a bunch of different car brands that make Formula One cars. See, me, I was just thinking Formula One was like another brand of car, but no, it's a type of car for racing. Cool.
A supercharged engine would be too inefficient. Renault had recently used turbos at Le Mans and decided to roll the dice and see what a little boost could do for Formula One. And it turns out
bring on the nitrous
goes a long way. The aging DFF could only muster about 500 horsepower in its most developed form, but Renault's turbo motor was matching that power on its very first outing. Soon after a bit of development, Renault was making 700 horsepower. And the rest of the constructors began to take notice. While the turbocharged 80s of Formula One only lasted for a few short years, there is no denying that they dominated. The insane power-to-weight ratios meant that drivers achieved speeds and times previously only dreamed of, cementing their names in the history books. Drivers like Ayrton Senna, Nigel Mansell, Alain Prost all made their names racing these turbocharged beasts against each other.
So I'm noticing again, there's a lot of foreign, of course it is a foreign sport, but so do Americans never take part in the Formula One races, or do we literally just do what Ferrari did and steal from Lotus and steal from the Europeans and make NASCAR? Like, is our NASCAR y'all's Formula One race kind of thing? Someone explain that, but let me know if we should do a part 2 to this video. We're about halfway through it, and I've definitely learned a lot and seen a lot. The biggest takeaway still that I'm like questioning is the safety of it all, for the drivers and again the crowd too, because like you said, instead of changing anything after all those people in the crowd sadly passed, they kind of just developed the cars to be faster and have more horsepower. So someone explain that aspect. But yeah, like the video. Let's get 1,200 likes in this video, and we will continue with the Formula One series, as well as just the driving series, because y'all really seem to be enjoying that. So yeah, just let me know what you want. Follow me on Instagram. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.